I'm Frances Proctor, otherwise known as Angel Eyes. Now the question has come up on Talk Graphics about applying a FilterForge filter to a vector selection in Xara. Now, it sometimes works with some filters, sometimes not with others. And it really depends on how the filter is put together. So there's two ways to go about doing this. The first one, I'm going to show you how to customize a FilterForge filter to apply it directly to the object in Xara. And then the second way I'm going to show you how to do it is how to use a bitmap created with the standalone version of FilterForge and to be able to use that as a bitmap fill. So let's start with the FilterForge method. You can see I've got some text here and I'm using a nice kind of bold font. So the first thing we need to do is we'll go to our Live Effects tool and we will go to FilterForge. Okay, now this is just about loaded. Things are a little bit laggy here because I'm recording while doing this. And you'll notice I've got this nice natural fur, which creates some kind of nice animal fur patterns. And there's lots of settings here that you can customize this filter, but you'll notice that it's not applying to my text. It's just creating a big rectangle here. Which what it's doing is it's actually filling the text selection box from Xara rather than actually filling the text itself. So we're going to go into the filter editor and we're going to add a couple components to this filter and we're going to fix this. So the first thing you'll notice is when you click the filter editor button, you will be asked whether you want to edit this filter or to create a new filter. In this case, we're going to edit this filter. And the neat thing about this is going to just make a copy of the filter. So the original natural fur filter that I downloaded from the filter library won't be touched. It'll still be there as it was. So let's open the filter editor. And now, I'm going to zoom out just a bit here and you can see this is quite a complicated filter, and for some of you, you might go, whoa, you want me to edit that? Alright, the thing of it is actually editing it to do what we want is a really simple process. And I'm just going to move this last component here out. This is the result component. This is the end of the filter where it plugs into this final component, which gives you the final result of the filter. You'll notice that this is a surface filter, and we've got a surface color and a height. Okay, we're going to leave the height alone because that'll work just fine. What we want to adjust is this here, the surface color. Now, to apply it to the text, or if it's a vector shape or whatever in Xara, we need to add a couple of components. The first thing we're going to add is an external image component. Under external, we'll go down here to image, and I'm just going to click and drag this to the work surface here. And now you'll see that this brings in whatever we've got selected in Xara. In this case, it's some text that I typed in there. So, and one thing I do have to add, when you are doing this, the easiest and simplest way to apply this to a shape in Xara is to make sure your shape has got a flat black fill. And then it makes it simpler to apply this to the shape or the text. So before we can apply this, you'll notice that this goes out this way, but nothing goes into it here. So we need to add a couple of more components. Then the next thing we need to do is we need to adjust this image. So I'm going to bring an invert component, and what this will do when I plug everything together is simply invert the colors in the image. And the final component we need is a component that we will use to apply this image as a transparency to the pattern. So we'll go to our channels, and what we're looking for is down at the bottom here, set alpha. So we can set an alpha transparency channel. Now I'm going to hook this into here, into the invert, and you will see if I click on here, the text is now white. Now I'm going to hook this into the new alpha here. You'll see now the text is now turned red, which means that it's being applied as a transparency. So we're going to bring this little arrow here where it goes into the result. I'm going to bring this up, and this is going to go into the set alpha as our source. Now you'll see if I click on this, it is applying the transparency to the pattern, and the pattern is being applied to the shape. So let's plug this into the surface color, and that's it. Now, you might be wondering why I'm suggesting black text and not just type it in white. Is because most of the time when you're working on a white document, you're not going to see that white text. So it's quicker and easier just to type the text in black and then invert it here in FilterForge. If you're working on a colored background, by all means you can type the text in white and skip this step. Now those of you who are accustomed to working with Xara's opacity mask feature will recognize what's happening here. The black text, after it's inverted to white, becomes opaque, and anything else that's either already transparent is left transparent, or if it was black, it would turn transparent, which is exactly what happens with Xara's opacity masks. So let's save our filter, and it'll ask you to give it a name. So let's call this Natural Fur for Xara, and save it. Now you'll have a natural fur filter that you can use to apply to a vector shape or text in Xara, and it will work quite slick. Now I'm just going to show you one more thing before we go back to Xara. Over here in the preset panels. Once you click the preset panels, you'll notice the presets will re-render. This takes a few minutes, and you can see that we're getting this kind of strange lifesaver image. This is the default image in FilterForge for rendering presets, and it looks horrible and half transparent, but as you can see here, the effects still will nicely apply to your shape, so not to worry about that. So now I'm going to simply click the apply button, and we're going to go back to Xara. Okay, so now you can see our text here has got our effect. And then the next thing, which I always say to do with FilterForge, is to lock the effect. Otherwise, you're going to run into some errors. So now that the effect is locked, you can move your text around and pretty much do what you want with it. And I can zoom in, and you can see that it's quite nicely got the fur texture applied to it. So now I was telling you about a second method. So let's create some more text here. Alright, the other method is to use FilterForge as a standalone. It works as a standalone program and can create wonderful seamless tiles. I've created this nice giraffe pattern here with the same filter that we were looking at to do this. And I can easily just simply use the fill tool, set it as a bitmap fill, and there you go. The advantage for you with using it as a fill rather than applying text directly to the text, of course, is the fact that you can customize your fill. You can change the angle, hold down shift and skew it. There's a lot you can do with fills in Xara. And of course you could also go from your fill tool to your photo tools and apply photo adjustments directly to this. So there gives you two ways to apply it to a text shape, vector shape of any kind in Xara. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.